Thank you. Thank you, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I see some hands waving. I would wave back if I could see you. To my dear friend and the chairman of our party, Chip Gore, to give him another round of applause for such a wonderful evening and outstanding dinner on behalf of Democrats locally, the state level, and nationally. Today is a special day for all Americans, and I would dare say those around the globe who have committed themselves to the advance or to the pursuit and advancement of human and civil rights. For those who believe that not only are America's best days in front of us, but the world's best days are in front of us. And for someone who represented the last in a line of brothers, from a family whom I believe sacrificed more for the betterment and expansion of the public space, the Kennedys of Massachusetts, let us have a moment of silence once more for the fallen lion, the beloved, the great leader and compromiser, Ted Kennedy. Senator Kennedy's life, in so many ways, tells a story not only about our party, but indeed about the country. But as I listened to all of those who eulogized him yesterday and today, I couldn't help but be reminded of how his story is indeed the story of our great party, and how our party is comprised of people who create things, people who fix things, people who build things, people who innovate, people who think through things, and frankly, people who care. The legacy of our party seen through the eyes and the work of Ted Kennedy, from the Meals on Wheels program, which benefited so many in my home district in Memphis and all across this great state, to the Americans with Disabilities Act, to the Family and Medical Leave Act, and to the AmeriCorps program. And as much as he hates to depart at a time in which health care is on the brink of being done in a major, substantial, and meaningful way, for when a health care bill is finally passed, with the work of Jim Cooper and John Tanner and many others in our great delegation, Ted Kennedy's mark and imprint will be all over it. Listening to those eulogized, though I eulogized him, I couldn't help but think a little further. As I thought about the great Ned McWhirter, and thought about the great leaders in our state whom are here, representing us not only at the local and state level, but those who seek to represent us at the state level as well. For the burden and the responsibility that we have as Democrats in this state is great. For the expectation, and for that matter, the hopes and aspirations of Tennesseans rest so squarely on the backs of our success, of our efforts and our success. Tonight, we are honored not only to celebrate in America that has elected its first president from a very different background, but a president who inherited such a great set of challenges that he will not only need the help of Tennesseans, but those across this great nation. When we think about our legacy here in this great state, and even the contributions we've made, not only to the national party, but to the betterment of America, for we are blessed to have one of those giants with us this evening. For more than over 30 years ago, this young congressman from the middle of this state realized that as courageous and, for that matter, as unpopular as it might be, to raise in the United States Congress how critical it was that we think about future generations' ability to breathe and to farm and to live and to do business in a world that would be far different than it was 30 years ago, but to think about it from the perspective of how we ensure that our federal government passes laws to ensure that our water is clean, that our air is clean, and that America looks out not only for itself, but for the world. For it was a young congressman from Tennessee who not only showed that bravery and eloquence, but showed a kind of clairvoyance on an issue that would not only affect Americans, but those around the globe. He went on to be elected to the Senate, coming from one of the strongest legacies, political legacies, not only in our state, but across the country. He served us valiantly, proudly, and effectively in the U.S. Senate. And then in the early 90s, when our party found itself drifting nationally, with the help of Net Worders supporting a young governor from Arkansas recognized that there was a young senator from Tennessee who possessed the same vision, the same tenacity, and for that matter, the same drive to not only make our party represent mainstream Americans, but to give the White House back to middle-class America. For this young senator was then plucked and asked to lead for 8 years alongside a great president. The last 8 years helped us in some ways miss them even more. Balanced budgets, job creation, a peaceful world. For what Clinton and Gore were able to accomplish, we can only hope that Obama can build on that success. But I dare say at the risk of even offending my close personal friend who is our keynote speaker this evening, that he had one of the best co-captains in all of American history by his side. Someone who recognized early on that government could be reinvented, making it smaller, more effective for every and all Americans. For he recognized early on that government at its best can help create jobs instead of standing in the way of business creating it. For he recognized early on that government at its best meant America at its best. 8 years after taking the vice president's office, he moved on and did not allow the misvote, the lack of an accurate vote count in Florida to discourage or deter him. For he has taken the last 9 years and in so many ways answered that enduring call of public service in greater and more profound ways. Having been recognized across the world for his work as a Nobel Peace Prize winner in making not only all of us more aware of the dangers that lie ahead, but even the opportunity that comes with it. When I travel this country, or for that matter, the world, it gives me great pride, and for that matter, great passion, and for that matter, great glee, to say not only to those across the country, but around the globe, I hail from the state where a young man who came from a great family saw something that many didn't see and went on not only to make a difference in elected politics, but to make an even greater difference outside of it. So often in our midst, we don't appreciate greatness when it's around us, and for that matter, when it envelops us. Tennessee, 25 years from now, when the world finds itself operating on an alternative energy platform, there will be one American who deserves and will receive more credit than anyone around the globe. And we can all say he came from a little town in Middle Tennessee, that he represented us in the United States Congress, that he represented us in the United States Senate, that he represented us as the nation as vice president, and had people in Florida known how to count right, he would have been the president of